Hi, it's Paul Dembowski. Right now I'm in Kampala, Uganda, and had the idea of doing this video just to relate some travel tips I've picked up from about 9 or 10 trips to Africa. So let's start with visa. The information I'm giving you pertains basically to 4 countries I've been to for at least a month each. I've been to Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Kenya, Sudan, and of course Kampala, Uganda. So as far as getting a visa goes, in Eastern Africa, Kenya, it's very simple. You just pick it up at the airport. It costs $50 US. Uganda, same thing. Pick it up at the airport. It cost me $100 US. West Africa is quite a bit more complicated. Both for Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire, you have to apply online, I believe. As of right now, that's what you had to do. And you just go to a website, you pay something like maybe, I think it's like 70 euros or so, and then you get an email. You have to send a whole bunch of information, your flight ticket, you have to send your flight ticket, your accommodations, you know, a copy of your reservations for the entire time you're going to be there as far as Côte d'Ivoire is concerned. Senegal, I believe it's the same thing. I made a mistake the first time I went to Senegal because a couple months before my trip, I remember seeing on the internet that Senegal is one of the few countries in the world that does not require a visa. So I went ahead and booked my ticket. Date of leave comes around, and as I was doing a search on the internet for some related topic, and found out that 3 months before they changed the rules, now a visa was required for Senegal. So I quickly applied online, got the first email from a 2-step process, was able to board the airplane, thank God. I think there's not many times when I've been asked for the visa at the airport checkout counter, but it does happen. I do recall one flight where somebody was denied boarding of an airplane because they didn't have a visa for, it turned out to be Senegal a couple of years later. Anyways, I applied for the visa online, got the first email, printed it out, ended up in Senegal. At the office, it really wasn't a problem. They went ahead and stamped my visa, put it in my passport in the airport. They take me in an office. Guy asked me for 5 euros to buy a pack of cigarettes. So I went ahead and gave him the 5 euros, no problem. And now at the airport, it depends on what airport, but I remember in Senegal, it's pretty crazy once you get pick up your bags, because they had what seemed to be a fake baggage inspection equipment, just like as you're leaving the airport. So the guy would pretend to like be searching your bags, and then he would ask for money. Then I had another guy come up to me and ask 20 euros simply to transport my bags from the airport to the whatever taxi. I mean, it's really, after a long trip, man, you just have to really be on top of your game when you get out of airports like that. On the other hand, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kampala, Uganda, basically what you're faced with when you pick up your bags and you're leaving the airport, you're just gonna have a lot of taxi drivers, and they're gonna be trying to get you to take their taxi. Now they're gonna ask you a pretty ridiculous price at first. They may even have a booklet saying, oh, to go to this hotel it's gonna cost, for example, I don't know, 100,000 shillings Ugandan to go to this area. That's ridiculous. Just ignore that. Try and bargain them down. You can, you know, they say 100,000, come back with 50, 60,000, and just do the best you can. You will improve your negotiation skills in Africa, that's for sure. Oh, another thing, the yellow fever certificate. Make sure you have that before you go to Africa, because I've been asked that probably 3 separate times in Côte d'Ivoire, Nairobi a couple times. If you don't have a valid yellow certificate, you're gonna have to wait in line at some little doctor's office that they have at the airport. and what they're going to do there is charge you to get a yellow fever injection. So you're going to have to get the injection at the airport. And I remember Cote d'Ivoire, there's a whole bunch of people who did not have the yellow fever certificate, and they were lining up outside the office. I'm sure they would have to wait another hour or two and then go in and get their injection for an inflated price. So make sure you have that. I believe you can get that at any doctor. I think it's good for 10 years. You just get a big yellow certificate. Make sure you take that to Africa. So as far as packing goes, you know, you notice in supermarkets in Africa, they're just like, there's not even close to the selection you'll find in the United States. So what I do usually is I go to Costco and I'll buy some more expensive things that are reasonably healthy for you. For example, I'll try and buy some decent box of decent power bars. I'll buy some really nice peanuts, a box of peanuts. You know, anything that it's reasonably healthy for you that would be very expensive in Africa. Peanuts are expensive. Good quality peanuts are very expensive. Fruit's very expensive here. So just bring, you know, if depending on how much room you have in your bag. You know, I've been here. I came here for a month, so I brought actually 2 suitcases and a backpack. It depends on your situation. If you're just backpacking around, it's not obviously you're in a different. It's a different story. So one thing I always bring, and like I said, I'm here for a month. Okay, if you're going to be staying at lower cost hotels like I am, for example, I'm staying at a hotel now that's probably about $20 a night. I always bring a sheet. I got a nice kind of warm sheet that I bring. I bring a pillowcase and towels. I always bring a nice big towel. Again, depending on your situation, this advice may not apply to you, but it's just come in handy. For example, I went to the beach last week, and they don't have towels at the Entebbe beach. Okay, you have to bring your own towel. So I brought a nice big towel, and everything worked out. And the sheet, I use it all the time. At these lower cost hotels, they probably haven't changed it. I'm sure they haven't changed the sheets for many years, and you can tell just as soon as you get in the room. So let's see what else. Low cost hotels. As far as finding accommodation, you know, Airbnb. I've tried Airbnb in Africa, and I found a couple decent places. Nairobi is a good place for Airbnb. They have a lot of listings there, and you can find a good place for a good price at a good location. Now, I was reading the other day that Airbnb is targeting Africa, and they're starting with Nairobi to expand their listings. And if you're going to a city like that, definitely check it out and see if you can find something. Now, one thing to beware of is the location. For example, last year I was here in Kampala, and I rented a place on Airbnb, and you know, the pictures look good, but then when I actually got there, it turns out I had to take like 2 separate dirt roads. The only real way to get there is to take one of these bodas, which means you're riding in the back of a motorbike, and there's no helmet. So if that's something you're willing to do, go ahead, but I try not to do that as much as possible. So I was in this place, and it just took, you know, I had to get the back of a motorcycle and ride half an hour just to get anywhere. It was just too inconvenient, too far away out of town. A lot of these Airbnb places in African cities are in the suburbs, so and many of these cities the traffic's really bad. So just be sure be as sure as you can be that the location is what you want. Another thing you can do is there's a lot of guest houses here, and you can just walk around in a location that you like and just go ahead and check out a couple of guest houses. That's what I did in Kampala actually. Is I ended up just walking by a cafe, and right next door is a nice guest house. I went in and found a place to stay for about 10 days. So. Another good website is booking.com, because you can cancel up to the last minute, and you know, you can review the place afterwards, and so there's less chance, I think, of people ripping you off or trying to charge you extra money if they know you can go ahead and write a review afterwards telling the world what happened. So ATM. When I come here, I try and bring as much cash as possible. In Eastern Europe, they like US dollars. they want newer US dollars, and it should be like $50 bills, okay? If you bring $20 and $10 bills to Kampala, you're gonna get an exchange rate much lower than $50 brand new bills. Matter of fact, I actually had a $50 bill rejected because I think it was too old. I'm not sure the exact series, but it was a US dollar. I think it was 1988 or something. They just won't take it, okay? So if you when you go to the bank, take out as much cash as you can that you're comfortable taking. It's really up to you how much you're gonna bring. I bring as much as possible. I realize it could be dangerous at times, but when you go to an ATM here, they screw you on the exchange rate. Then you get a couple of really large ATM withdrawal fees on your bank statement. It costs quite a bit of money. So, you know, cash is king. You take cash into a Forex here, you're gonna get the best rate possible. I've been in Kampala for, like I said, almost a month, and it's just amazing the exchange rate for the US dollar here. Just everywhere you go, you just translate it back to US dollars, and you're just, it puts a smile on your face because it costs about half the price of the equivalent in the United States or Canada. So, actually, if you're in the United States, I heard that Charles Schwab has an account. It's you open up a Charles Schwab account, and it'll reimburse you any ATM fees all over the world. And I can't apply for that because I'm in Canada, but it sounds like a great deal, and I've read on the internet that quite a few people do that, and they're very happy with it. So anyways, that's a few tips. I'm gonna probably do another video soon with some additional tips. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.